Hello and welcome back to the Double Pipcast series on how to play this game, the Transformers trading card game. If you are watching this video and you haven't watched the other videos, please start off with video number 1, then watch video number 2 where we go over the way the game is played at a very basic level. I said that I would be doing a more advanced turn and how those are taken, but I thought to myself it might be worth going over the battle cards and some of the abilities and some of the keywords that I talked about in video number 2 and what those keywords do, because they are very important to how to play this game or how you play this game. So we're going to go over a couple things. Those are upgrades, actions, keywords, card types, like card faction types, and then we are going to touch on battle icons, pips, one more time. So I've got some cards out here. We're going to get them nice and close up to the camera and go through them one by one in terms of importance and how often you may see them. So the first card, and the card itself isn't really that important. See if we can get the camera to focus. But yeah, okay, you can see it. So this is an upgrade. So we're going to kill two birds with one, or we're not going to kill any birds. We're just going to talk about two things at once. So if you take a look here, we've got this keyword, bold. Bold is the keyword that we're going to be talking about. And you can also see that this is an upgrade. It's a weapon. So there are, let's tackle the upgrade part first. Every character can have 3 upgrades on them unless there's some other rules that make them do otherwise. There is a weapon, there is an armor, and there is a utility. Weapons usually add attack, armors usually add defense, and utilities usually allow you to do something like heal or draw more cards or some other rule bending. So we're worried about bold right now. So bold, what that allows us to do is flip extra cards when we attack, and the amount of cards are denoted by the number right next to bold. Bold and some of our other keywords, all those numbers stack. So in this case, handheld blaster, the weapon, when attached to a character and when that specific character attacks, would get to flip another battle card. So they would flip their 2. If any of those are white, we'd flip another 2, only once per turn. Will white work for us? And then our bold 1 comes into play. And really, it doesn't matter when you flip your bold 1. It can be after you flip your 2 from white. It can be your 3rd card flipped. A lot of players will flip through their cards and say 2 for the white, and 1 for bold, or 2 for bold, however many you have. Bold stacks. So if for some reason your character has innate bold, either from their ability or something else in the game that's telling them that, the bold numbers stack. So you add them up. So there is no limit. You can have bold 15 if you wanted to, and you definitely could do that. So that is bold. Bold adds an additional card flip on attack. The next one we're going to go over is tough. So tough, and the cards that I've chosen them very purposefully because you will see these cards because of these icons that they have. They have 2 orange and 2 blue icons. So tough, just like bold, will allow you to do something very similar, but instead of an additional card flip on attack, you're getting an additional defense flip. So you have a chance to flip more than your normal 2 cards. Focus. Okay. This is an upgrade as well. This is an upgrade armor. So like I said, upgrade armors usually add to your defense stats. This is not adding any more defense, but it is allowing us to flip more cards on defense, allowing us a better chance at getting some blue pips or maybe a white to give us that bonus. Tough, just like bold, stacks. So this is an upgrade armor with tough. Next keyword that we're going to go over is plan. And plan, not always, but usually is found on utilities and actions. But what plan does And you can see that there. This is actually a card that gives us Plan 2. So Plan allows us to take cards from our hand that we necessarily don't want anymore and put them from our hand on top of our deck. So Plan 2 would say you may choose up to 2 cards, because we're planning to, choose up to 2 cards, put them on top of your deck. Why could that be handy? Well, in the case of this card right here, we could take, while we're attacking, we could take 2 orange cards from our hand, put them on top of the deck, and guarantee that those oranges are going to come out when we're attacking. Basically guaranteeing that we're not flipping any blues or any whites. So that's Plan. Now Plan says put up to 2 cards. So that means you don't always have to do it. You may. The cards are very literal as well. So if you ever find yourself lost in what a card does, read it verbatim. Don't read between the lines. And if you find that it's still not clear, you can go to the Transformers Rules Roundup on the official Transformers TCG website. So we talked about bold, we talked about tough, extra flips on attack, extra flips on defense. We just talked about Plan, putting cards from your hand on top of your deck. Those numbers that are associated with those keywords, they do stack. Now we're going to talk about a couple of newer ones, and actually we're going to talk about a few of them. And these are newer for waves 3 and 4, the Transformers wave, the Siege set. And so I've got 3 cards here, and we're going to put this one down for now. Put you right on the mat there. So I said we'd talk about card types or card faction types. So right here you can see that this is purple. All the other cards have been gray, right? So this purple denotes that it is a Decepticon card. Now some Decepticons cards, confusingly, can be put onto Autobots unless they say put on Decepticons only, which there are cards that say put on Decepticons only. The purple card that I have with me is Hazardous Shield, and this keyword, another new keyword, Revenge. What Revenge does is use a character's revenge ability when the character is KO'd. So if Hazardous Shield is on a character when it dies, we get to use this Revenge ability, which is scrap an enemy weapon or armor. So some characters will have revenge abilities, and some cards will have revenge abilities. The next one is Safeguard. So Safeguard means that on an undamaged character, they cannot take more attack damage than this number. So we go back to our Grimlock example from the last video. If he was going to receive an attack of, let's say, 10, somebody's going to hit him for 10 damage, if he had this upgrade on him, he would get to only take 3 because he had no damage on him previously, so Safeguard would protect him and cap the initial attack at 3. Once he's taken damage, Safeguard no longer works, and he can take all the damage possible. Now, if he heals up or gets repaired through a card and gets back down to being undamaged, Safeguard would come back into play. So the card that I put down here, this was introduced, this card type and card ability was introduced during Transformers Siege 2, where they came out with, and I don't know if you can see it too well, but this little black watermark back there is the mercenary character type. And the keyword we're talking about is bounty. So like Revenge, when a character dies, you get to do something, or gets KO'd, nobody dies. When it gets KO'd, you get to use a revenge ability. When you knock out a character, you get to use the bounty ability either on your character card. If you have a mercenary character, which we'll talk about in the character rundown, you get to do a bounty ability. This bounty ability is choose a battle card that you own from outside the game that has exactly 1 star. So that's what this card does. And you can tell this is a black topped card, a mercenary type card. It has the mercenary watermark, mercenary color at the top. It's not just your normal gray. I kind of skipped over the fact that Medic's Protective Field was an Autobot card. So it has the Autobot red, has the Autobot symbol in the background. So let's see. I've shown off upgrade armor, upgrade utility, which again, this didn't add to our attack or our defense, but it allowed us to do something different that kind of changed the rules around. Then an upgrade weapon. The upgrade weapon added some attack. The upgrade armor, not this one, this one added some defense. And the utility changed the game around a little bit. There's also actions, and so actions and upgrades, you can play one of each per turn unless it's the very first round of turns. Turn 1, the player who goes first can't play either. Turn 2, the player who goes second gets to play either an action or an upgrade. And turn 3, we can play an action and an upgrade. So this is just an action that I have on hand. Focus Fire. Ooh, it is an action. It says so right there. There's also secret action cards which get played on your turn but aren't shown to anyone. And the secret actions are revealed when the card says so. So some secret actions will say reveal only when your opponent flips more than 2 cards or something like that. And that's when it would come out. So it's if you're familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh, it'd be like a trap card. So we've went over upgrades, we've went over actions. The pips, let's do a rundown on the pips again. So the cards that we just went over have all the pips that we want to talk about. So we have blue. So far, the max we've seen for any type of card is 3 pips, which you saw on wedge formation in the last video. We have 2 blue icons. Blue adds to defense. That's it. Blue adds to defense. We have orange. This is a double orange card. Orange adds to attack. This is a great card to flip when you are attacking. 2 battle icons for the price of 1. We have white. White, the first time we see it during any given turn, that allows us to flip 2 additional cards. This is nice. You don't want a ton of these because then if you flip 2 whites, you're still only getting 2 extra flips. And it's possible that those next 2 cards that you flip could be white and you don't get any boost to your stats. Then we're going to go into green. So sometimes there are single green cards like Sonic Scramble, which you saw in the last video. So what green allows us to do, and follow me if you will, green allows us, once we've flipped cards during a battle, once those cards are sitting there to the side, we've got the cards, just imagine that I flipped these 2, I can take my hand and say, I don't want this one anymore. I'm going to put it down and grab this green card and put it into my hand. So that's what the green card allows us to do. We can't take a green card from our hand and switch it out with a non-green, but we can take any card from our hand and grab 1 green card per battle. Defense is allowed to do that too. The attacker grabs his or her green card first. So the initiative, and you allow the person to attack, who is attacking, to grab their card first, which is also a piece of strategy as well, because you get to see what they discarded and what they're picking up, so you can kind of see what they have in their hand. One thing we have not talked about, and it just came to me, we didn't talk about the keyword pierce. So pierce is and I'm going to put these down, and we'll talk about black in a second. So pierce is a keyword that allows you to guarantee damage. So hold on to that, guarantee damage. So let's say you have, this is a great example, cards that I just had out. So let's say you have Laserbeak, who has 2 attack. Focus. Yes, 2 attack. And you have Ravage. Okay, Ravage has 3 defense. So when you pierce, and you have pierce from an upgrade or from an action or even from a card's ability, Laserbeak has pierce 2. So at least 2 damage will get through regardless, unless there's a card that says reduce pierce, but we're not going to talk about that right now. So Laserbeak has 2 attack in this mode. He has pierce of 2. So even though Ravage has a defense of 3, 2 will get through. So pierce is guaranteed damage. That is the most simplified explanation. you can never do more attack damage than a Pierce number. So let's say you had 3 attack with Laserbeak. So we're going back to this example. Let's say there was 3 attack with Laserbeak and Ravage was defending for 3. That would normally be 0, right? Nothing. But Pierce 2 gives us 2. Pierce 3 would guarantee that 3 to get through, but Pierce 4 would not be for attack damage. So on an attack of 3, and 3 is defended, Pierce 4, that 4, my little pinky there, that doesn't add extra damage. It just says, hey, if there was 4 attack, all 4 would be guaranteed. But since you only have 3 orange, or 3 attack, we're going to pierce 3 of it. So if it's defended, then we're going to pierce it. If you were going to do attack damage regardless of the defense, Pierce does not come into play unless the defense was reducing it below that Pierce number. So it's kind of a funky concept to just see me waving my phantom hands around, but Pierce number is the minimum guaranteed damage with defense and attack taken into account. Okay, so Pierce. Hopefully you got that. If you don't, hit me up in the comments, and I'm sure somebody will explain it better than I can. But this black pip right here adds Pierce. So for each of these that you flip, you add to a Pierce value. So let's say Laserbeak was attacking for 2. You flipped 2 black. His Pierce would go up by 2. So that is what black is. So we've covered black, we've covered orange, green, blue, white. Right now, that is and this is not January, we're in December. I'm going too fast. December of 2019, there are that many pips. Black, blue, orange, green, white. So that is the rundown on pips and keywords. So what we learned is that there are keywords. The keywords with numbers stack. So you can have bold 2. You can have bold 5, depending on all the sources that are giving you bold. You can have tough 5, 6, 7, 8. You can have safeguard stack as well. Revenge, bounty, they are basically the opposite of each other. One you get from when a character is KO'd, one you get from when you KO a character with attack damage. And then we have pierce and we have plan. So that is a quick rundown on battle cards, and hopefully you found that valuable. The next video before we get into a advanced play session is going to be on character cards and their abilities, what they can do, what these traits here do. So that will be the next video, and I'll bring out some different characters you haven't seen yet. So thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned to the next video, and if you enjoy listening to me, you can listen to all of us on the Double Pipcast almost every week on Google Play, the Google Play Music podcast service, and Apple Podcasts as well. Search for Double Pipcast, just like the Battle Points, Pipcast. So thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.